Hello, hello, hello. I can hear myself. How about that? All right, let's open up a chat box too, because we are set up. And chat box is open. Group chat. And there we go. We are live. We know I can see myself. Hey, what's up, buddy? Yeah, I sent you an email. I just sent you an email 2 minutes ago, so check your email as well as your Facebook chat. It's a direct link into the broadcast. Yeah, I accidentally sent the invite for you to view, for everybody to view. And then I just minutes ago sent a direct link for people to participate. So I know that I'm broadcasting live because I'm double checking on my second computer. And you're live right now talking to me on the phone. How about that? Yeah, it's been, they made one tweak since the last time I did a live Google Hangout. And I sent out the watch link to everybody 30 minutes ago. And then I just ended up sending the attend link as well. Oh, I'm already live right now. I've already started the broadcast. I'm literally recording, and two people are viewing right now. They are experiencing me talking to you because I'm live. So we need you to log in utilizing that link, and then you'll show up, and we'll get started. Yeah, all you got to do is click the direct link, and then it will say join Hangout, and we'll be, and you'll be live. And if you're not live, I myself will absolutely start and keep everybody busy with my stand-up act. Yep, it's loading in a second. Yep. There we go. John Block joined. There you go, John. All right.
Hello, yeah, hello.
I'm hanging up the cell phone.
Just did.
There we go. Right on. We got you, right, John?
Yes, you can see and hear me?
I can see and hear you fine. Very, very loud. That's my volume that I will resolve. And thank you, everybody, for viewing us right now. John is actually, you're at an event, correct?
No, I was going to be at one, but it didn't work out.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So we had some last minute technology challenges to make sure that we got today's guest on today. And I am personally showing 12:02. So let's simply see who else is on the line here. I definitely have a handful of viewers already live. And the importance is, yes, you can watch the replay, and many people will. However, I want to make sure that we are as engaged a community as possible, because I've been blessed with experience. My special guests have been blessed with experience. So let's simply see if the viewers that are watching, if you could type into the chat your name as well as your where you're dialing in from, if you possibly can do that. I know that I did send 2 links. Forgive me, forgive me. It has been some time since I've had the Get More Speaking Gigs show, and I accidentally sent the first link to everybody, that was simply the link to view or to watch our actual live hangout. However, I just 5 minutes ago sent a second link, and that second link was directly to join and participate in today's conversation. And that would be my preference. Naturally, you can simply view this Get More Speaking Gigs show because we're going to have content-rich, money-making advice, impact-making advice. However, we would also like you to participate. So the viewer count is going up. I'm not quite sure if the viewers themselves can actually, oh yeah, you can, you should be able to. Let me double check something here and post a comment and just make sure, and we'll get started in 1 minute, everybody. Under a minute. One second here. Want to make sure that the group chat is working. And maybe the group chat is only working for people that have joined with the link. So we're going to get started. All right. You ready, John?
I am very ready, TR. Excited to be here.
Okay. Quick recommendation, John, if you could maybe move your chair a little bit back from your computer so that we can get your full face. Yeah. Oh, there. That is perfect. Absolutely perfect. All right. So we've got viewers that are coming in, and we've got people that are undoubtedly going to watch the replay. So I have exactly 5 minutes past the hour. That is our buffer. So here we go. What would your business look like if you had 100 additional prospects per month? What would your business look like if you had 10 additional promotional partners per month? And what would your business look like if you had 1 additional speaking gig per month? It'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Now, let me ask a second question. What would your personal life look like? And we've got people that are undoubtedly going to have exactly 5 minutes past the hour. There we go. That is okay. Nate, here we go. Okay. Yeah, I know, Nate, if you can mute yourself.
Myself with various contact information. Just tell them that I'll be down there by 6:30.
Nate and Kevin, if you can mute yourself.
Happy to buy him lunch or whatever, and then I'll have his number in the event he reaches out at all.
All right. Nate and Kevin, can you mute yourself? There we go. Give me a second, John.
Okay.
Sure.
I don't know how to mute everybody. Oh, I do. Now I found it. There we go. How about it? All right, a couple people.
Order restored.
A couple of people have logged in, and forgive me about the momentary lapse of tech savviness to mute everybody. So everybody is muted, and here's where we're going to go. I was asking the question, what would it be like if your business was filled with 100 additional prospects, 10 additional promotional partners?
Right, right. Great, great, great. Thank you.
There we go. Kevin Ford, we got to keep you muted, my friend. And otherwise, it's going to throw everything off here. So bottom line is, hello and welcome. TR Garland here. Welcome to the Get More Speaking Gigs show. Yes, this is the first and only show 100% dedicated to teaching emerging speakers, authors, coaches, workshop and seminar leaders how to get more speaking gigs. If you know anything about my background, I've been in the speaker author coaching space for just under a decade, and I've worked with Brian Tracy, Laurel Langmeyer, Les Brown, John Azraf, the Think and Grow Rich brand, and many, many others. But today's conversation is not about me. And with all due respect to our special guest, it's not about our special guest. It's about you, the viewers that have joined this community, that have raised your hand and said, TR, the Get More Speaking Gig show sounds interesting. Let me see what you're going to talk about. So Your time is valuable, and because your time is valuable, we have pre-planned 2 segments to this Get More Speaking Gigs show. The first segment is the first 30 minutes in which I rifle off questions. I rifle off questions to our special guest, 10 questions. And then the second 30 minutes is where our special guest gets to add massive value to your life. Massive value through his experiences in the speaker, author, coaching, workshop, and seminar industry. So without further ado, please let me double check and make sure John Block is still here.
Yes, very much so.
All right, here we go, everybody. Let me give a brief background on John. So in a nutshell, I've known John for 5 years. And when I first met John, he was very, very captivating. He was very, very compassionate. And you could tell that he cared. And he had this desire to make an impact in the world. And he was hosting live workshops and seminars. And to be as respectful as possible, those live workshops and seminars, they were working. However, he wasn't, quote unquote, making as big an impact as he desired. And I've watched John through the years turn a corner, just like many of you can turn a corner with the right sequence, with the right blueprint, with the right formula. And that's why I've got industry insiders on the Get More Speaking Gigs show to teach you the sequences that they've used, the blueprints, the formulas that they've used to find success. So real quickly, through his training and networking organization, Speaker Venture, since 2011, John has actually taught over 500 entrepreneurs. At the end of the day, John has experience. He has an amazing community called Speaker Venture. And beyond that, he cares, and that's why I've got him on the call today. John, are you there? Everything working out okay?
Yeah, TR, thank you so much. And I just want to take this moment to say how much I appreciate our friendship. You know, there's so many people in this industry who talk about being heart-centered and prioritizing the relationship over the sale, but then when it really gets down to it behind closed doors, the ones who actually walk their talk are kind of seldom. And I just want to really say how special our connection is, and really you are as a man and as a leader, and it's really a privilege to be doing this with you right now.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like I stated in the email that I sent out, in the past, you know, again, I have access to 7- and 8-figure earners in the speaker author coaching space, and the format originally started off with exclusively interviewing those people. And I haven't had to Get More Speaking Gigs in a show in a year, and too many people have been begging for it. And I felt what a great way to reboot the Get More Speaking Gigs show with a new format of a hybrid of people that are currently at 7 and 8 figures that can teach my community how to get more speaking gigs, but people just like you who not too long ago were not breaking that 6-figure mark with your speaker author coaching workshop, you know, experiences, your business. So without further ado, I'm committed to as best as possible to deliver value, but also to have fun. So please, everybody, understand, yes, there were some technology challenges in the beginning, but you know what? We're on right now, so let's go with question number 1. John, are you ready?
Bring it on, TR.
All right. Can you tell me a bit about your first experience speaking from stage? Did it go over well, and how long ago was it?
So in order, it was disastrous. So no, it did not go well, and it was 2011. So very first time. Okay, so I'll share this in 2 parts. So my technically first time speaking would have been in January 2011, where I was hosting an event called the Here and Now Convention for New Year's resolutions. I had this idea that there's so many people who are fired up for their New Year's resolutions that why not do a personal growth conference that brought together anything you could potentially want for your upcoming year in one space. So we had business coaches, health coaches, romance coaches, spirituality coaches, anything you could have in one room. But I was the MC, not one of the speakers, because I had it that I was not an expert enough. I didn't feel worthy of being one of the speakers at my own event. So that one was successful, but I did not really get the fulfillment of actually working with the people that I had brought there. And in the sense of what's really successful when you own that next level of leadership, that was missing for me. So that's a quick story about being the MC at my own event, where I was really hiding behind my own speakers. And I say that because having worked with so many speakers on now, I know that's a common tendency of the who am I, the self-doubt, and the am I really good enough to be doing this? And so I'm telling you right now, yes, you're good enough. The fact that you're on this Google Hangout shows that you're committed to making a difference, which in itself makes you good enough to be on stage. And once you do, it only gets better and better. So my first real time, I'll just share, speaking from stage was when I was offering my programs. And that one was really heady and awkward. I remember that was the biggest thing with me. And they're all kind of like cluttered in between because I was doing it weekly is how I started it. But I remember this experience of not having fun, feeling like I don't belong up here, but I got to do it. And having just to really prove that I was good enough to be deserving of my audience's attention and money. I remember that pressure I put on myself, which is completely optional, guys. Like, no one puts that pressure on us but ourselves, and it actually held me back from being my most effective.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for sharing. Let me simply just point out that I know that this is our first time doing the rapid fire questions. However, please let's these questions.
Rapid fire, I got it.
These questions have actually, they're not all from me. They've been submitted by viewers in past Get More Speaking Gigs show. So what we want to do is stay as encapsulated as possible with some rapid fire 10 questions. Otherwise, the whole 10 questions will end up taking the entire hour, because I want you to share your personal experiences above and beyond these rapid fire questions.
Right, I want to say on this topic. So now I know the rapid fire. Bring it on. Question 2.
No problem. The point that I want to make is, for our viewers and listeners, is here was John hosting his own event, and he did not even feel comfortable to be a speaker at his own event. And then when you do your research on where he's at today, it is like night and day. So congratulations, John. Question number 2. How many years of speaking were under your belt before you truly felt like you had arrived? Meaning that the marketplace considered you an expert at your craft and that it was regularly profitable for you.
3 years.
3 years?
3 years of like building up and tearing down and then being sick of that process and choosing one business model and sticking with it. 3 years.
Okay. And looking back now, what was the one key lesson that you learned that assisted you in finally turning that corner?
Don't get too cute and original with your business model. Try what's accepted, what works, and then you can put your own unique expression on that, but always, always, always start with what's proven that works as a business, simple business model.
Okay, simple business model. And just so everybody knows, I'm taking notes because I want you to get value, and I will recap the valuable principles that John has shared with us, based on his journey. So real quickly, what we learned in question number 1 was that he didn't even have the confidence to speak at his very first event. Real quickly, a principle that we've extracted from question number 2 is he is stating, do not get too cute with the business model. And I'll add to that, because you originally answered it this way. I'll add that my recommendation is, don't be a perfectionist, right? Just get out there and actually have people show up and allow you to be you. People are going to respect you for you. They're not going to judge you based on a little snafu here and there, because you've got experience that is valuable to the marketplace. All right, let's go to question number 3. What do you believe are the most dramatic changes that have occurred in the speaking industry, and how have you adapted to them, and or how have you observed other people adapting to them or not adapting to them?
Great. The number 1 change that immediately jumps out to me is the way things are sold from stage. I would say 10 years ago or even 5 years ago that the typical rush to the back of the room, be one of the first 19 people, and then you get these 3 hot bonuses. That model, which if you've been around at all in the seminar world, you've probably seen that. That personally feels to me somewhere between antiquated and obnoxious oftentimes, and it totally destroys the trust and relationship with your audience. Maybe not all of your audience, certainly the ones buying, that 20% or so that are buying, but I would say the rest of them, there's some negative impact with the audience. So I believe there's a new way of making offers from stage that is a lot more deepening of the relationship and connection you have with your audience. Personally, how I do it is with one-to-one enrollment. And even if, even at Speaker Venture, which is a group experience, I'll make the one-on-one time, we build it in, to connect with people one-on-one and see who feels called to go on to the next level. And I've told people face-to-face that this is not for you, don't do this, right? If I feel that's the greatest integrity. So that's what I see, is that it's shifting towards this no longer one-size-fits-all, and frankly, sales tactics that are boiled in like manipulation and scarcity and these kinds of constructs, and greater authenticity and integrity and really service to your clients.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And just so everybody knows, that is why I did invite John as the first special guest of the reboot to this Get More Speaking Gig show, because I know that he is congruent with who he is, with who he's supposed to be, and he's matched his business model accordingly. Yeah. Now, we've got a handful of people that are viewing right now. I can see some people live as well as the number of viewers, and I know for a fact that there may be challenges currently in your business because you are congruent with who you are, but it may not be congruent with the business model that you are attempting to accomplish, or the business model that people are telling you is the only way to do things. Right? I mean, is that a good explanation, John?
Yeah, I would say so. That there's congruency, particularly if you're in any kind of mentor or guide capacity, coach role with your people, has to be the number one thing that you have to have. You have to have alignment with what you're offering, be a truly great service. The value of it is at least 10 times more than what you're actually charging. Mm-hmm. That congruency is essential. Otherwise, you got to do the work more on yourself before you can really be effective.
Message, right? I've got my cue cards up here to let people know this is what we're talking about. Your message, your message is your core connection, right? Your core connection is what lessons has life taught you that uniquely qualify you and only you to offer your message to the marketplace. So that's what we're talking about. And thank you very much for elaborating on question number 3. Here we go with question number 4, John. Knowing what you know now, if you could do it all over again, would you change anything? If so, what?
Okay, I'll answer that on an inner level and an outer level. Inner, I would stop comparing myself to others. And how that ties into the outer was that during those first 3 years, the very tumultuous first 3 years, my tendency was to compare myself to others, feel like I was less than. I would look at the peak potentials of Ted McGrath or Thrive Academy, right? People whom I, in many cases, love and respect, and saw how financially well they were succeeding, and think, okay, well, I better do that because then I can have their results. And the reality is that so many times if I had just stuck with what I was already doing and started getting success with and just tweaked that and further mastered that, I would have found my own unique voice in the industry a lot faster. I would have been a lot happier, a lot more appreciated and seen by my people because I wasn't just trying to clone someone else, and then it becomes indistinguishable. Why should I go to you when I got all these other people, right, that are doing the same thing? So the biggest thing would be, and this is such a core value of mine, is to really be in your own personal truth, right? And the highest truth of what your path is meant to look like.
Excellent. Right on. I completely agree.
Did we cover that one?
We did. Question 5. If you were teaching a class, and let me point out, this is a very, very, very important question. So we want to make sure that we're crystal clear with this. All right?
Yes.
If you were teaching a class called How to Get More Speaking Gigs to emerging speakers, authors, and coaches, what would the first 3 lessons consist of? In other words, what is a 3-step process in order? This is the gift that we want to offer the viewers. This is the meat and potatoes.
Right.
What is your formula, 3-step formula for how to get more speaking gigs?
Okay, so I'm not going to blow right through this one. I want to spend a little time because I know how juicy this is. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
All right. So I'm going to tell you the biggest, it goes beyond suggestion. It's more like a law. Like a law when it comes to booking speaking gigs. You must adhere to this law. And then I'm going to tell you 3 strategies to adhere to that one law. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So the law is to ask other speakers. Okay? That's the law when it comes to booking speaking gigs, is that you must ask other speakers, right? Those 3 words, ask other speakers. Now, here's how you do that, because what comes up for people would be like, well, I don't know what speakers to ask, right? Well, here's the deal, guys. If you look around in your friend circle and you're the only speaker in it, you got a problem, okay? You're going to be chronically stuck in that, where do I get the speaking gigs? I don't see them anywhere, right? You're going to continue spinning in that until you make your friend circle comprise of speakers. Does that mean you need to boot out all your old friends? No, that's optional. You can if you want. That's your call. But you must have a circle of friends who are speakers. This is one major reason that Speaker Venture exists as a community of speakers. That are your speaker friends that you can just dive right into. So you must have a circle of friends who are speakers. So that's the first point around asking other speakers. The second thing is that once you have a circle of friends who are speakers, it's not enough to say like, oh, I'm a part of this organization of speakers and think that's going to handle itself. No. Just like in sales or any real relationship, it really gets created on a one-on-one basis. So if you really want to get the speaking gigs, you have to have that one-on-one conversation with the other speakers. So here's how that might sound. You'll ask to speak with someone one-on-one and take this to a phone call, probably not in person, won't be necessary, but a phone call, and we're talking about maybe 10 to 15 minutes on the phone. If you've already met, there's really no reason why it should take longer than that. And the way you set up the phone call is that you want to see how you can support each other, right? And how you have some ideas of how they might grow their business and how you can serve. So just like with clients, guys, you have to really lead with how you're serving, and that's the case with these speakers too. So you got to be someone that has speaking events that you know about at the very least, or that you've been to, that you can at least recommend to someone and say, oh, you should go here, you should go here, right? So in that one-on-one conversation, you'll ask them, what are they looking for? What kinds of speaking gigs are they looking for? And then you can make those recommendations and, of course, be willing to make introductions. Please, please, please be a connector. A speaker is not an island unto themselves who thinks that you're such an expert that the speaking gigs would just line up to you. If you've been in this game for any amount of time, you know that's simply not the reality. So this is a relationship business. This is why TR and I are a good example of this, where I get to share this with you guys on this Google Hangout. And what is that word? Oh, the revenue.
The revenue is in the relationships, right?
Yes, absolutely. So in this case, because of mine and TR's relationship, having known each other for 5 years, then I get to do this with you guys on a Google Hangout, and then TR is going to be on my stage at Speaker Venture. And that's how I do it, which actually is my tip 3. So to wrap up tip 2, you want to have these one-on-one conversations with people where you can give first these speaking gig recommendations, and after you've given so abundantly, it only stands to reason that they'll give to you abundantly. The extent to which they'll give to you is based on how much you give first, right? And it is so much like in all of our relationships, you get back what you put in, okay? So be a connector, be someone who's in the know and has speaking gigs you recommend. So the third thing I was going to recommend is to have your own stage that you can book other speakers on and do stage trades with them. So at Speaker Venture, we have between 5 and 8 guest speaker spots every quarterly event that we do. So the agreement with each of my guest experts who have either they're on a panel or they're on stage for an hour, the agreement between us is that we have a stage trade in place, meaning that like TR and I are doing a stage trade, or Matt Browning and I do a lot of stage trade events where he's a live event business like mine, where I'll be a guest speaker at his event and he will be at mine. But I just want a presence that because of the 5 to 8 speaking slots I have at Speaker Venture that happens every quarter, I'm getting between 5 and 8 speaking engagements every 3 months. Okay? So just consider how powerful that would be for your business, is to have consistently 5 to 8, and you could do your own version of that. Maybe you have less, maybe you have more, right? It depends on you. But that's what works well for me, I know, to really have a really consistent pipeline, is having those 5 to 8 speaking engagements every quarter, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So as we stated, thank you so much for digging a little bit deeper, because that is the meat and the potatoes of the first section, the first 30 minutes of we're coming close to wrapping up right now. However, let's just restate, according to my notes, what I've taken from what John has taught us. So John said that there is one underlying universal law to success as a speaker, right? Author, coach, workshop, or seminar leader. And that is to ask other people, right? Ask other people how they found
underlying
success.
Law for getting speaking gigs is to ask other speakers, like where are they spoken? Because I'll just quickly qualify that. The best introduction, referral you can gain to an organization is not through messaging the meetup organizer. It's not through showing up at an event as an attendee and then asking somewhat awkwardly if you can speak to the organizer about becoming a guest speaker, right? Now, those things are worth doing, but they're nowhere near as effective as if you have a warm introduction to the promoter from a speaker that was previously on their stage whom they loved. So, for instance, if TR introduces me to some promoter, an event that he spoke at, and that person loved TR, then it stands to reason in their mind, psychologically, they're already set up to know that I'm going to be great as well, right? It's the best case scenario for me to meet that promoter.
Sure. Great, great, great. Okay, so I've got a card here that says Superior Student. Superior Student. And what I'd like to point out is that, yes, we are having a very friendly, free-flowing conversation with a little bit of structure right now in this Get More Speaking Gigs show. However, I trust that you have showed up or you're watching the replay for a reason, and that's to learn. Therefore, I myself am going to assume the role of mentor, and my special guest is going to assume the role of mentor. And what I'd like for you to do right now is grab your pen and paper and write down a task that you can actually take action on immediately after this show. And that task is going to be, please write down 3 stages, podcasts, or telesummits, or blogs that you would like to be on in the next 12 months. So your take action is, please write 3 gigs, right? Gigs are stages, podcasts, guest blogs, etc., summits. Write down 3 of those that you would like to be on, and then beneath each one of those, write 3 names of people that have already been on those stages, and then take action and connect with them on Facebook and LinkedIn. Add them to your professional network and start creating that relationship with them, because remember what I said? The revenue is in the relationships. The revenue is in the relationships. And John's point couldn't be more spot on. I simply wanted to interject that our mentorship is to have you take action after this call, not just listen. So please write that down as an action item. And moving forward and staying on track, we've got question number 6. Question number 6, John, is what words of advice would you have for emerging speakers, authors, and coaches in their quest for getting speaking gigs? Words of advice.
the world wants you to play bigger. The world wants you to be on stages. Your people are craving what you have to offer. So please remember that. Tattoo it if you need to. But let that be bigger than your own fears or insecurities or your I don't want to bother people or they're so busy they don't want to hear from me. Forget that. Your life is so much bigger than those feelings. So really, really stay focused on how much the world needs you to step up.
I love it. I love it. That's like a quote. I should rephrase that question. If we were creating like a badge, an image badge or an infographic to post on Google Plus or LinkedIn or Facebook, what 2 sentences would you want the world to see about John Block, right? And that's the world wants you to be on stage. Let the stage be bigger than your own fears. I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing. Question number 7 is, today there's a new definition of a speaking gig. And that definition is any opportunity to have a conversation with your ideal audience. Please write that down. A speaking gig today is any conversation that you can have with your ideal audience. And what I mean by that is stages, summits, podcasts, expert panels, blog talk radio, blogs. Those are all speaking gigs that help you get in front of your ideal audience. And so my question for you, John, is what is your preferred method of having that conversation with your ideal audience today?
I'm an in-person guy, hence the text snafus earlier. I really thrive off being in person because my end game, guys, is about raising consciousness. It's about serving humanity to be at their highest selves, whether it's more loving, happier, more money. They're all related, in my view. And the way I can best deliver that transformation is in person. So for me, since the in-person experience is where it's going, I like to go in person for marketing, right? So I speak 3 times per month, at least, right? Leading up to Speaker Venture, more than that. And I find that the people who come to a speaking gig or their most in-person speaking event are the ones most likely to want to invest in a speaking event as their purchase, right? So I believe in offline to sell offline and online to sell online. So for me, it's still far and away the in-person speaking event.
All right, excellent. All right, we are coming close. Let's see if we can wrap through the last 3 questions in under 5 minutes so that we can make sure that you can add massive value beyond these questions. So question number 8 is, how many physical stages would you suspect that you've spoken on through the years, and how many virtual stages would you suspect you've spoken on?
I would say in person, 150. Virtual, significantly less. You know, I'm newer to the medium, so I would probably say 30.
Okay, excellent. Question 9. And I like this question. I think that everybody else is going to like this question too. We've got Nate, we've got Kevin, we've got a handful of other people. Here's the question. Would you please share with us the most shocking pee in your pants moments that you experienced during all your years in the industry? So let me elaborate. The pee in your pants moment could be a nervous or embarrassing moment for you or for someone who went on stage before or after you, and you can't believe that they did it or they said something, and we want you to be completely real, raw, and relevant with regards to this. So let her rip. Let's hear a juicy story.
All right, so it's summer 2013, and things are going really well at that point, right? And I had my biggest weekend at the time, which was making $12,000 in one weekend, and for me that was like, oh, that was the highest I'd gotten yet. I mean, now it's significantly higher. It's more like 80,000, but at the time, that was a big deal. And then I remember talking with some colleagues around that time, asking, you know, how were their events going, and someone, I won't say her name, but she said that she and her partner had earned $150,000 from their weekend event, right? And then she said, well, are you charging for people to come into your event? And I said, yeah, $497. And then she said, well, you should make it free, because then you can get a lot more people in the room, and then you can make offers to them the whole weekend. Because it's free, you've earned the right to give them make offers the whole weekend, right? So I'm like, okay, makes sense. So this kind of harkens back to that tendency I used to have to like just listen blindly to people who are making more money than me and say, okay, I should do that instead. So I followed her model. I made my next one free. I decided to use webinars because people had told me, like, oh, John, you're a schmuck if you don't use webinars to fill your events, particularly if it's free, because you can leverage the whole world to be at your event, right? And then make your offers throughout the whole weekend to those people who come into your events. You're a schmuck if you just try to do it through speaking gigs, right? So I'm just suffering through this webinar process, trying to like figure out my very first time. So we ultimately get it up and going. We get 0 people to sign up for it from the free webinar, right? The free webinar to the scholarship weekend event. We get 0 people to sign up for the event. So then I'm hitting the phones just the 3 weeks leading up to it, trying to get people to come to this free event, because by that point I committed to making a free event. So then I got people saying, oh, do I have to be there all 3 days? Can I just come for like a few hours, right? I was trying to take a seat deposit of $100 to show up, and then people were saying I really don't prefer not to give you my credit card for a $100 seat deposit that they wouldn't even run unless they didn't show up. So I was not under the best circumstances leading into this event. So now cut to the answer to your question. This is the Conscious Business Summit is what I called it, which, again, the 2 previous ones had gone well and were growing. But now this is a free model. Ultimately, with hitting the phones relentlessly for 3 weeks, I got 30 people in the room. Okay. So there I'm thinking about that woman's voice that I had spoken to, like, okay, you got 30 people in the room, going to make some big offers, right? Going to make lots of money here, going to make some big offers, going to sell this crowd. So I funneled it into just one offer. I decided, okay, just get everyone on board for this. And that was something like 3,000, which isn't even that big, right? But I thought 3,000, I'm going to just really, really sell this, right? So I make the offer, and then it was very much the model of stand up, go to the back of the room. The first 9 people get these hot bonuses, right? Flat screen TV or whatever the hell I was saying, right? But like sign up for this. No one gets up at all when I make that offer, and I start getting pissed, right? I start saying, like, why aren't you doing this? Don't you see? Where is your commitment, right? And then I start making them wrong for coming to this free event and then soaking up all the information from the event and then not being willing to invest in themselves to go to the next level. So I'm being like painfully honest. This is like my dark side when it comes.
Yeah, I think I remember this. So let's close the story.
Oh yeah, you wanted to wrap it up in 5 minutes. So this is so. As such, I had 2 people who registered. One withdrew the next day, and one person made just a $300 deposit. So I just want to wrap up, I guess, what the major lesson from that was. It was just disgusting. I hated being that guy. I really, really hated being that guy, and I vowed that I would never, ever again put myself in that position where I was going to bring out that part of myself. And even if I felt tempted, I would just never, ever go there again. So that's why, for me, I know it works best to have people who have skin in the game. The model we choose is Speaker Ventures. People invest to be there. They get great results because they invested. I show up bigger for them, and we can really have the best connection. The offers go extremely well because we're an energetic match from the very beginning. That's what I kind of feel is partnership from the very beginning. That was missing with the previous one.
Excellent. So here's where we're at. We just finished question number 9, and let's bring this full circle. Prior to question number 1, we set the stage talking about congruency. And all through these questions, I trust that my viewing audience, that the people live as well as watching this replay, are starting to piece together certain concepts that are very, very similar in many of John's answers that he's sharing. And that's the fact that he is recommending that you consider simply being yourself and not buying into the hype and hope that is out there that is being pitched to you by some other brand names out there.
Yeah.
Because here is why I have John on the call as a special guest. Because a few short years ago, he was not generating over 6 figures.
Mm-hmm.
And he just shared with you that his very first event, he didn't even want to be a speaker because he didn't stand in his own value. And what he just ended with was, along the way, he actually felt disgusting and icky because he bought into someone else's vision of what his business should be. And someone else's vision was that just get people into the room for free even and sell them something. And he tried that. He was a little bit rattled up and pent up inside leading up to the event. And in order to make money, John turned into someone that he didn't like, and the audience didn't like him. Whereas now, he has finally come to grips with who he is. He's gotten the right guidance and mentorship from friends, colleagues, as well as his own coaches. And he now has something called Speaker Venture. So, John, I'm looking at the time, and we've got 16 minutes in the hour left over. I'm happy to stay on and answer any questions that anyone has beyond the hour limit. However, what we've committed was 30 minutes up front, 30 minutes in the back for an hour, and question 10 actually is, I greatly appreciate your expert insight, and I trust that everybody else appreciates your expert insight. Can you please give us an explanation on what project you are focused on today, why it means so much to you, and how people can learn more?
Great. So this is an opportunity to share my life's work and what I'm dedicated to with my life right now, what I'm feel is the highest expression of how I can serve humanity, and that is with Speaker Venture. So Speaker Venture is a community of speaker entrepreneurs who are all dedicated to positively impacting lives, to spreading light on the planet, and maximizing their profits in the most collaborative way possible. So it's a community that meets once every 3 months, and I'll just share a bit about what happens at these events. And then if you feel called to consider joining us, then we can talk about that as well. So at these events, we focus on 3 key things. One is your signature talk, which we didn't get to today, but what was the biggest breakthrough in my speaking career, being able to reliably generate over $10,000 from every speaking gig I did, was having a signature talk. That's perfectly designed for my audience, that addresses their urgent problems, speaks to the tangible results they want to gain, and really positions you as the mentor to potentially guide them. So at the Speaker Venture, you'll be working on the design and delivery of your signature talk, your personal story, your content, your offer. You'll be crafting that and actually getting up on stage and delivering it, which is really rare to have that kind of safe space where you can get this loving feedback from some pretty to very successful speakers in the room to be giving you this loving feedback as well as coaching from me on your signature talk. So that's the first thing that happens at these events. The second one, which we've talked a lot about on this Google Hangout, is with getting speaking gigs. As I mentioned, the best way to get speaking gigs is to ask other speakers. So what you have here is your family of speakers that are in the room, and we keep it pretty intimate. At this October one, where TR is a guest speaker, there's only going to be about 50 people in the room. So across 3 days, you will meet everyone. And what we do is a process where you'll have one-on-one conversations with every single person in the room that are dedicated to exchanging speaking gig resources with each other. So the result of that is people will gain 2 or more speaking gigs with the relationships they develop in the room and those conversations. You'll gain 2 or more speaking gigs, and you know that one speaking gig should be worth over $10,000 to you. And if it's not worth that yet, then that's all the more reason to come to Speaker Venture and get your signature talk down and learn how we do it. And then the third thing is, after signature talk and getting speaking gigs, are the guest experts we have on. So people like T.R. Garland, who are in my view, brilliant, compassionate mentors, and also what I feel are great spiritual teachers, just in terms of who they're being, how they relate to money, how they relate to people in the industry, the relationships that they have. I don't know if you know this, TR, but very high criteria for who we let on our stage at Speaker Venture. And for me, it has to be the full package of being financially successful, being well-connected, and really who you are as a person, the beingness. So in the past, we've had Steve Olsher talked about how to fill your room with 300 people. At our last one in July, we had the TED Talks organizers. So the TED conferences, we had the organizers come in and speak to the audience on how they can become TED speakers, which is super cool. And then you can network with them, and this is not a pitch fest either, right? I'm thinking of who else we have. Like Rhonda Britton will be at our October one, who's expert on fear. So her whole thing is fearless living. So whatever there is for you around fear of public speaking, fear of living into the big vision of your business, she will help you break through that. James Key will be covering story, so the entire personal story aspect, going a lot deeper on that. So those are some of the people that we have there. And it's not a pitch fest, so no one is allowed to sell from stage. They're there to provide incredible value to you guys. Lunch is included as well, so they'll gift something to you at the end of their talk that is incredibly valuable and that they charge thousands of dollars for. You'll get that. And lunch is included with Speaker Venture, where you can network and mastermind with all the guest experts. So that's the world of Speaker Venture, TR.
My question would be, and again, we're not done yet because we're going to open it up for some questions and try to continue to add some value. My question would be, how can people contact you, with regards to, hey, I really like what this John Block guy stands for. I trust TR for having him on the Get More Speaking Gigs show as the very first special guest expert who is talked about, just years ago was under 6 figures and now is above 6 figures. He's met TR's criteria. How can I, just have a friendly conversation with John?
Okay, great. So the best way to get connected is to go to the link that I have below my name there, speakerventure.com. So that's our website for the event and the community. And just apply now. So this is for you if speaking is on your path, getting more speaking gigs, making a difference in people's lives, making a lot more money through the power of public speaking. If that resonates with you, if anything I've said has resonated with you, then it is in your best interest to apply now. So whether you can make these dates or if there's a later one that you want to potentially experience, this is the way for us to get connected. There's no obligation to it. As TR said, this is really just a friendly conversation and really seeing how Speaker Venture can best serve you. So go to speakerventure.com. I would say the best time to do it right now. You're already at your computer. So just do it right now. Go to speakerventure.com, and then you'll scroll down below the video. You can read about it later, but just go to apply now and then fill it out, and then we'll get in contact within 24 hours.
Excellent. I appreciate that, and I highly encourage everybody to at least make sure that you connect with John on Facebook and LinkedIn so he knows who you are, so you can follow what he's doing. And if you resonated with anything that he had to say, just simply see what speakerventure.com is all about, after this call. But we've got 9 minutes left, so let me recap the 10 questions and how John answered them, and then let's take some people off mute and see if people want to chat. So, question number 1, his first event, the principle that we learned from John's answer from question 1 is that his first event, he wasn't even a speaker at his own event. He let fear get the best of him, but he kept forging forward, and look at him today. He's now hosting his own events. He's the MC, he's the speaker, he's a host with his beautiful wife, and he's got amazing community to boot. Number 2, his answer to number 2, the principle that we can extract from that is don't get too cute in the very beginning when you're transitioning from another profession into being an emerging speaker, author, coach, workshop, or seminar leader. Keep the business model simple. And I added, if you focus on one thing in the beginning, that is the recipe for success? Question number 3, what we ended up extracting from a principal was that he ended up saying that what's changed in the industry is that there's a shift in the marketplace away from the run to the back of the room and towards let's all help each other. How about that? Losing my voice. Number 4, the principle that we got from him is stop comparing yourself to others. You are uniquely amazing in your own right, and your ideal audience will be attracted to you for being you. Question number 5, the principles that we extract from John's answer is 3 steps to getting more speaking gigs. Number 1, there is an overarching universal law, and that's ask other speakers. Number 1, don't be the only one in your circle who's a speaker. Number 2, take action by meeting with or having phone calls or Google Hangouts with other speakers and lead with what you can do for them first. Contribute first, and the law of reciprocity will work. Number 3, create your own stage so that you can stage swap. I know that we've got emerging speakers, authors, and coaches on the line right now and watching the replay, and they're saying, putting on an event is too big for me. Well, you know what? Then start a monthly Google Hangout. Simply just start a monthly Google Hangout on your topic and ask other people to be experts and just start a conversation from the grassroots. Just so everybody knows, I've paid Alex Mandossian tens of thousands of dollars through the years. I remember when he first started doing Google Hangouts. He interviewed me, and he was ecstatic when 3 people popped up at the bottom of the screen, because that showed progress, that it wasn't just him and me talking. So the fact that you host a Google Hangout and 3 people show up is amazing. Just take action. Just take action. All right, number 6, the principles that we got from John's answer is the world wants you to be on stage. Let the stage be bigger than your own fears. I love that. Number 7, John said he prefers in person. I know there's a lot of people that prefer in person. However, do not neglect the fact that there's a new definition to speaking gigs. According to me, the industry standard definition right now, according to the Get More Speaking Gigs show, is any conversation that you can have with your ideal audience. It could be stages, it could be summits, it could be podcasts, it could be expert panels, it could be blog posts. Anytime you can have a conversation with your ideal audience. John said for question number 8, he's been physically on over 150 stages, and he's just now taking my advice as a friend and mentor to explore the virtual world, because he can reach more people and make a bigger impact, just like you can make a bigger impact. Number 9, he shared that his pee in the pants moment was that, you know what? He had a huge event, and he listened to someone else's vision of that event, and he hated who he was. And because he didn't feel congruent with how he was hosting that event, he bombed big time, and he probably pissed people off. But you know what? John came clean, and he admitted that to his community.
Mm-hmm.
And they loved him for it, and that was probably a turning point on helping John escalate his social influence within his community. And number 10 is he is focused on Speaker Venture these days. I encourage you to at least connect with John on Facebook and LinkedIn, and even just check out speakerventure.com. So where we're at right now is we've got a couple minutes prior to the hour, and I have got, who have we got live? We've got Anna live, we've got Nate, we've got a couple people that I can't tell, and we've got some viewers. So I'm going to unmute. I'm going to unmute Nate and see if he's got any question. All right, so let me unmute you, Nate. Actually, hold on a second here. All right, Nate, can you unmute your? See, I've got you muted. There. Can you unmute yourself, Nate?
I believe so. Can you hear me?
There we go. Yes, we can hear you. Excellent.
Perfect. Well, I guess my question is, I'm just starting speaking, focusing on speaking. I've spoken at a few events, but I still don't feel comfortable, and I was relating to his experience of being so scared that he couldn't speak at his own event.
Yeah.
What was it that helped you move past that and gain the confidence to kind of command the stage?
Yeah, really great question, Nate, and it's so universal. I know you speak for so many people with that question. So 2 things. One, there's an inner alignment to really gain. The inner alignment between you and the difference you're here to make in this world, right? I would assert that when you get clear on that why, whether it's to, in my case, by raising consciousness, I believe that people will celebrate diversity versus beating people up for being gay, right, or being a different color or a different religion, right? That's what I tie to. Whenever I speak, I believe we move towards that, right? Some might say that's arrogant or fluffy or whatever. To me, it's as real as it gets, right? That's in my world. That's the context I create for my own speaking. So, Nate, that'd be my first thing, is to invite you to consider what's the context for your speaking. Because if it's just to get clients and make more money, that's going to ring hollow with you and with your people. So it has to be something much bigger than that. Like, what is this ultimately in service towards? Like, whether you get clients or not, you did something really good for the world. The second thing is, on a very practical level, is to get a signature talk. That was the thing that was the most impactful for me. The reality is that it takes 50 times of giving the same talk before you become a master at it. Most people don't have the discipline to give the same talk 50 times, which is why there's so few great speakers out there. So be one of those people that has a signature talk that you share at least 50 times, and you'll see how things will just get better and better.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome, Nate.
Nate, out of curiosity, would you like to have some feedback from me with regards to that question?
Sure, absolutely.
I know that John is in the spotlight right now, but we both have unique experience in the industry, and I thought that many other people watching, as well as watching the replay, may find value in both of our answers. So basically, you asked the question, what helped John get past the fear of speaking on his own stage? And you know, John talked about the practicality of reality, right? Which is, you know, come into your own, be yourself, and I love that. What I'd like to do is add, and I encourage going down that path from an answer perspective. What I'd like to add on top of that is look back in your life's experiences on what thought process might have gotten in the way, and the result was the same. And what I mean by that is, yes, today you are focusing on becoming an emerging speaker. And you asked what helped John get past the fear of his initial event and the first couple events. And so I would ask you to look back in your past based on, have you felt this feeling before about other things? And what have you done to overcome that feeling?
Gotcha.
Realistically, it's a very, very good practice. Yes, I want to have practical and tactical advice in this Get More Speaking Gig show. However, it is as much about the conscious tactics that you can take to turn that corner as it is about the subconscious corners that you can turn internally and have the trust that you are supposed to be someone's mentor. You really, really are. You have an ideal audience out there that is going to resonate and react to your signature talk. They're going to resonate and react with the stories that you sprinkle in your signature talk, and they're going to connect with you on a personal level. Whereas if I spoke after you or before you, and John spoke after you or before you, your ideal audience is not going to connect as strongly with me or John as they are with you. It comes down to putting a stake in the ground and saying, I am me. I'm going to tell my story, the lessons that I've learned from my life's journey, and the right people are going to resonate and react with that story. And that is how my business is going to grow.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Let's trade off. So we've got Anna here. Anna, let's take you off mute here and see if you'd like to participate. Are you there, Anna? There we go. We're getting on. We're showing Anna on the screen. Hi, Anna. Would you like to ask John a question? Oh, we don't have any audio for you. I can't hear anything, any audio. We see you on the screen. Yes, I know that you can see me, and I can read lips pretty well, but we can't hear you at all, and you're not muted. We can't hear you. Can you go into the, you're in the group chat on the right-hand side of your screen. Can you type your message, your question? Okay. Excellent. And we've got some other viewers on as well while Anna's typing her question. If you are viewing and don't have access to join this live Get More Speaking Gigs show, please look in your email, because 5 minutes prior to this, prior to 12 noon Pacific time, I sent an email with a direct link for you to actually participate rather than just watch. We've got a lot of people watching, but we've only got a couple people participating. So I'm looking in the question answer pane right now, and I'm not getting anything. Oh, there we go. Anna, I just joined 10 minutes ago, so I missed most of the presentation. Here's her question. It's coming up in a second. And that's okay. We can make this live, and you can review it later. And then everybody stick around, because I'm going to close up with something very, very powerful, and I'm going to share with you something that I call the Profitable Platform Formula. The Profitable Platform Formula. And we're just waiting for Anna to finish typing. And then we'll address her question. And then we'll wrap it up with the Profitable Platform Formula and any final amazing words that John has. All right, she's almost ready. Nate, so we don't want to stress her out. Do you have another question, Nate?
There's so many. I'm trying to think of what I could concisely ask.
Okay, here, let me ask a question then. If you look to your right, we can see your marker board.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of glare there, and it says stay the what? What does that say?
Stay the course.
And then what's beneath that?
Expand.
And then blue sky. Stay the course, expand, and blue sky. What is stay the course naturally is you know, confidence, staying the course and everything. And what does expand mean to you?
I think as individuals, we either expand or contract when we have those pee in the pants moments. Sometimes we can contract and withdraw, or we can expand and grow. So that is to tell me that I need to expand and grow under all circumstances. Wonderful. And then blue sky? The blue sky is like achieving your goal, and it's like if you visualize the sky. I'm a private pilot too, and you know, sometimes I'll fly and you can't see the sun, you can't see the blue sky, but when you fly through the clouds, we've all experienced this, you get above the clouds, then there's the sun and the blue sky. So
Sure.
it encourages me to focus, get through the clouds, get through the pee in the pants moments, and you'll get to the sun, you'll get to the blue sky.
Excellent. Well, I love it. Congratulations on staying the course, expanding, and reminding yourself about the blue sky, because that's true, right, John? I mean, at the end of the day, you know, the first couple years, John blatantly admitted that the first couple years he was under the clouds. Right, John? You hadn't broken through the clouds yet and seen the sun, the way that the sun is coming down. People forget that when there's a storm below the clouds, that the sun is still there. All you got to do is break through the clouds. Right, John?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I saw Anna's question, TR. I believe she said that she is a virtual assistant and is looking at how she can use public speaking to expand her client base. Is that right, Anna?
Yes, it is. So go right ahead, John.
Okay. Great. So, such a great question. So your audience has an urgent problem. Anyone who's in business, your audience has an urgent problem that you are uniquely designed to solve. So in the case of you, Anna, considering that you're a virtual assistant, then your urgent problem for your entrepreneur audience is probably something like you're doing it all yourself, right? Like you got way too much to do, right? So how you might do this is that your signature talk will be called something like "Stop doing it all yourself," right? For entrepreneurs, you can come up with something much better than that. But that's what the destination point for your audience has to be. That's your talk title, is that it's experience the freedom of being an entrepreneur, right? If you want to go that route. So then anyone who's an entrepreneur who desires to experience freedom will come to see your free talk. And then while there, you will deliver your personal story and then some tips for how they can experience greater freedom, and then naturally invite them to explore whether working with you would be in service to them to gain additional freedom, right? By that point, they'll have experienced you and your expertise and your heart and your compassion and your wisdom, that it would be very natural for them to say, yes, I'm willing to book a one-on-one appointment to explore if there's a fit here. Our clients at Speaker Venture, out of any room they speak to, let's say there's 20 people in the room, they get at least half. This is on average. They get at least half of the attendees to book one-on-one appointments with them. In your case, and I think you could get even more than that, because people are coming because they have this urgent problem, so they clearly want the solution to it. The key thing for you to be the, I think, have more focused or successful established entrepreneurs versus more struggling, overwhelmed, and don't really know what's going on at all. You need to be working with business owners who already have it together, but they're still kind of a one-man or one-woman show. I think you'll do very well if you bring those people into one room and say, I'm here to help you experience the freedom that you desire.
Great, John. Great answer. John, you are in the spotlight, so may I ask your permission if I could follow up and add to what you shared with Anna?
Yes, you may, TR, and this is your show, so you can do what you want as far as I'm concerned.
This is the show of the community. I'm just the host. All right, so Anna, may I ask your permission? Is it okay if I help and add to what John said and add my experience and answer your question? Of course. All right, here we go. Here we go. So John spoke about the importance of your message and your signature talk, right? Of having a specific topic that is going to grab the attention of your ideal audience, and it's going to focus on a solution for them. And I would say that's an amazing step one. And step 2 or 3 may be, and this word says media, right? It says media. And what I want to point out is, once you've taken John's advice and figured out a signature talk or a signature headline that will grab people in, then on a piece of paper, write down where your ideal audience or target market gets their information from. Where do they get their information from? right? We are talking about speaking gigs, and undoubtedly a perfect scenario is a small workshop with 10 people who are highly qualified for you to deliver your message to. However, do not discount the fact that there are other forms of media out there to have a conversation that stems out of your signature talk or your title. So what criteria has your ideal audience placed upon where they get their information and where they make their buying decisions? Right? Let me clarify that. What criteria does your ideal audience set when they make their buying decisions today or their partnership decisions, if you're looking at partnering with organizations or joint ventures? And when I'm speaking of media, let's talk about one form of media is going to live events. One form of media is going to masterminds or boardrooms or roundtables. One form of media might be Facebook. One form of media might be blog talk radio. One form of media might be iTunes, the podcasts. One form of media might be Google Hangouts, like what you're watching. And one form of media might be LinkedIn, which I happen to recommend that all speakers, authors, and coaches focus on. So thank you very much, John, for answering Anna's question, saying, listen, you got to start somewhere. Start with a captivating headline and build from there. And once you go further down John's blueprint, John's formula, I simply wanted to add, figure out what media they are on, and then try to get on that media. Do you have anything to follow up with my follow-up, John?
No, I think that's plenty for Anna.
Cool. All right. So, John, are you okay sticking around for one more question?
Sure.
All right. Let's see if, Nate, if you have any further questions. And Anna, if you've got any further questions for either John or myself.
The only thing I've thought about doing my own event for quite a while, and I guess what is the, like, I have a lot of fear associated with, you know, getting a place to hold an event, trying to advertise an event, get people to show up to an event. What's some advice to just, like, where to start and how to get over that hurdle? I know that's a big question.
Yeah, it is. So I'm wondering if my knee-jerk response would be at all useful for you. That's why I'm hesitating. Because my knee-jerk response is that I see you as a powerful man, Nate. So when you say what you just said to me it's just like an old version of you. Like it's more of a 10-year-old boy version of you, which we all have a 10-year-old boy. But at some point, we got to put on like our big man pants and actually take charge of our business, right? So that's how I want to relate to you. My concern is if I talk to you like a 10-year-old boy and say, oh, here's what you got to do to break through it, like, hey, you can volunteer for kickball, right? I don't want to really talk to you that way, honestly. I'd rather like relate to you as a powerful man who's a leader, who's got a big vision and a voice to get out into the world, which means feel the fear and do it anyway.
Gotcha.
Right? Be bigger than letting the fear stop you. Just have a greater level of rigor and discipline that you bring to your life, where saying I'm afraid is simply not big enough to take you out. It has to be bigger than that. Like someone has to actually chain you to your desk in order for you to stop from moving and doing what you got to do. And even then you still get a lot done if you're chained to your desk, right? So that's really what I have for you, Nate, is that I want you to see you the way that I see you, as a powerful leader, has a big vision to share. So of course you're going to do the event. Is it going to be the most successful one ever? Probably not, because it's your first one. But you're going to be a lot stronger for having done it, and the next one's going to be a lot better and easier and more profitable for you, right? And if you hit the first one out of the park, which a lot of our clients do, then that's great too. right? But there's no such thing as failing. So it's just an irrational thing to not do it because it's only degrees of success, right? Whether you do it and you get a ton of clients, then that's the greatest level of success. If you do it and you get no clients, then you got the experience under your belt, and you can make your future ones even better, and you know that you can do more events because you just proved it, right? So please, just get the first one out of the way. Just do it.
Well, that's exactly what I needed to hear. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're welcome.
That is the John Block that I know and love. That is the John Block that I know and love because he loves other emerging speakers, authors, and coaches and encourages them to, look at your screen right now, take action, right? We've all heard feel the fear and do it anyway. And I don't want to elaborate too much because that is thunder and lightning at the same time. That is John Block standing up for you, Nate. That is John Block who has experienced exactly where you have been in the past, knowing that you just need to push through it, have friends, have colleagues, and have mentors, and you will achieve your goal. So I couldn't have said it any better. That's the John Block that I invited to the Get More Speaking Gigs show. Myself, Anna, everybody else viewing, we thank you, John Block, the one that showed up today to serve the Get More Speaking Gigs community, for being here. So from the bottom of my heart, John, thank you for sharing your wisdom all the way till the very end. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Nate, for being live on this call. This was a reboot to the Get More Speaking Gigs show. And please be on the lookout for your email or my Facebook or LinkedIn for further announcements. So thank you very much, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye now.
You as well.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Anna. Thanks, Nate.